can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Eevee and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's your boy Ernie, the Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, so today's video, we are going to be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 4. And this issue is the one that hurt me the most. And what I mean by that is, you know, I'm a longtime Ninja Turtles fan. Like, since I was a little boy, and you used to have all the toys, we watched cartoons, and you used to read the old Mirage comics. Actually, the Mirage comics, that is my Ninja Turtles. Like, whenever someone's like, oh man, they changed my Ninja Turtles, usually when they say that, they mean the old cartoon.
First time.
All that said, I have seen so many different iterations of the Ninja Turtles, and across pretty much all of them, my favorite Ninja Turtle has always been Donatello. And I always joked about how, with how they were doing this new series under Jason Aaron, that they were, you know, saving the best for last. I was like, oh, they're saving Donnie, my boy Donnie, saving the best for last. Same as what they did for the initial 150 issues. Not to say Donatello didn't get storytelling prior, but like the final story arc under Sophie Campbell, it was there where Donatello really got a lot of storytelling as the run was coming to a close. It was one of those things that, you know, because he is my favorite turtle, it really resonated with me. So I was curious to see exactly where Donnie is right now. And what I am, you know, very both happy and sad to see is that Donatello's back, and we finally get to focus on him for a little bit, you know, for an issue. And of course, I've talked about how the Foot Clan is back. They are gunning for the Turtles. Karai has reneged on the truce that was between the Turtles from the initial 150 issue run. It was something that kind of came a little later in the run, but like, you know, if you wondered why during that, you know, those last 100, you know, the back half of that 150, you wondered why the Foot Clan didn't really factor in anything. It's because they weren't butting heads. And to the point, Shredder was even working with the Turtles, like closely, mentoring them in the wake of the death of Master Splinter. But when we get to this new run under Jason Aaron, the Turtles have been scattered. We still don't really know why, though I'm pretty certain we're going to learn with issue number 5 that comes out very soon. Here, Donatello is probably the worst for wear. Like, of any of the Turtles who have been suffering up to this point, Raph having gone to jail, Michelangelo becoming a celebrity, but in a sense still not happy. He's lonely, he misses his brothers, but he doesn't really want to admit it out loud. And Leonardo had become rudderless to the point that he was willing to allow himself to be eaten by sea turtles. The Turtles are not in a good place. They are crashing out in ways that are just not good for anybody. And Donatello is, as I said, he's the worst of them, because one thing that happened during that initial 150 issues is that Donatello went from being a skeptic when it came to things like the supernatural and magic. Over the course of 150 issues, Donatello completely 180'd on the whole thing. He was always only about science. If it couldn't be explained by science, he didn't believe it. And we got to a point where he started believing in the supernatural, the spiritual world. He literally had a near-death experience at the hands of Rocksteady and Bebop. They beat him quite literally to death, to the point where his spirit actually crossed over into the afterlife, and he met his mother, Tang Shin. It was a wild time, and his spirit was even transferred into what would ultimately become Metalhead. And going on from that, he learned ninja magic from Shredder. He taught it to all the Turtles, but Donatello actually took it a step further, trying to become literally the Sorcerer Supreme of the IDW TMNT universe. I mean, he was practicing magic to the point he learned how to affect time travel. And of course, that led to its own level of shenanigans, specifically in terms of having to encounter a giant time-traveling mutant shark by the name of Armagon. Some of you may remember that character, who has been in multiple different iterations of the TMNT. After all that, and all accounts were settled, all the dust was settled, all the smoke was cleared, everything went back to normal. But it seems Donatello is the worse for wear as a result of it, because he's no longer been messing with magic, but he also hasn't been taking care of himself, and he's also still reeling from the death of Master Splinter. And it makes sense considering the fact that I don't feel like the Turtles ever actually got over Master Splinter's death. And I mean, why would they? Why would you expect them to? Someone who has literally been the only father that they have ever known. I mean, both figuratively and literally, because he is actually their father in this universe. He was their actual birth father before they were turned into turtles, reincarnated into such. Back in feudal Japan, when they were human, that was family. They are family, not just figuratively, as it has sometimes been depicted in various different versions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it makes sense that he's still reeling from that, but he's gotten to the point where he is delirious, to the point he's seen a actual normal rat, and he is assuming, like he is hallucinating, that is Master Splinter. Though I do find it interesting that Donatello is hallucinating that he is seeing his father in the form of a normal rat. It's very telling, because the very last time that Donatello saw Splinter was not at the moment of his death, but actually when Venus de Milo took him back to what is effectively beginning of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reincarnation. He interacts with the very rat that Splinter has been reincarnated into prior to his mutation. So it makes what's going on here that much more heartbreaking. But the thing is, even though Donnie is down bad, he is hurting, he's still fighting the good fight. Even though he's emaciated, he's skinny to the point that I'm surprised he can even stand on his own 2 feet. He even talks about how over the course of time that his shell, it feels like his metal shell is starting to reject him, that he's starting to feel aches and pains there in ways he had never felt before. For those wondering about the metal shell, that's kind of goes back to the near-death experience with Rocksteady and Bebop. They literally took a sledgehammer to his shell and completely destroyed it. So that shell that you see the little screws in it, that's not like artistic license. That is his shell that was replaced. So yeah, Donnie's in a bad place, but he also finds himself being drug into what is effectively a dangerous game situation where mutants are being stripped off the street and thrown into cells and being held by these guys who are trying to make money off of opening up a game hunting situation for those who have the money to pay for it. People who want to beat up mutants, fight mutants, and potentially unalive them. Yeah, depends on the situation. But Donatello was actually stepping into the fray every time after he has now been captured by these people. We actually saw a lot of this in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha issue that came out before all the new Jason Aaron stuff. So we technically have seen a lot of this. I'm not going to retread a lot of it because I've already talked about it in fairly great detail for what we had at the time. But the thing is that once Donatello helps all the other people, once again, to the detriment of himself, to the point where he's hallucinating, he's talking to himself, he thinks he's talking to Splinter, he is not. And it's gotten so bad that he's also giving his food away to the other mutants who are locked away. He's not, and once again, this kind of goes back to, he's not taking care of himself. And even before he got taken, he even muses about how he's not been able to keep food down. He's not been able, like his body is just withering in ways. He's gotten headaches and migraines. He can't even look at a computer screen anymore and that's gotta be terrifying him because this is literally all he does most of the time. But yeah, he can't do the normal stuff. Some of it might actually have to do with all the stuff he did in that initial 150 issues. He talks about how he's trying to stay away from the mystic arts, no longer using magic, like he's sworn it off, almost as if this is a direct result of it. It almost feels like this is his penance for having messed with magic. Whether he's feeling this way because he is going cold turkey off of magic, or if this is just the price he has to pay in the long run for how much he messed with magic, that for the most part remains to be seen. However, the Turtles are reunited by the end of this issue. The Foot Clan, as I said before, they're gunning for the Turtles now. The reason behind that is because Karai has now decided that she doesn't want people out there with the secrets to the Foot Clan's magic. She doesn't want them knowing their secret techniques and abilities, something that she had a little bit of a personal run-in with during the Secret Destiny of the Foot Clan miniseries, where she witnessed firsthand what can happen when someone knows the Foot Clan secrets and could strive to do something more ambitious than what even Karai would want. For the most part, Karai has not really wanted things like world domination. She just wants the Foot Clan to thrive and be prominent and to take hold of New York City in the ways that the Foot Clan used to do back in the days of feudal Japan. That's pretty much all she wants. But she also doesn't want other people out there abusing what the Foot Clan have to offer, and also by proxy putting a bad name out there for the Foot. And yeah, that's something that matters to her. And while it's not so much in the case with the Turtles per se, but she still knows that they know the secrets that Shredder taught them. So she wants to take care of that. And that means having to take them off the board to completely assassinate all of the Turtles. She's gonna do that. And right now, the Foot Clan is on Donnie's ass. That said, Donatello isn't so beaten and battered and bruised that he's not only able to take down the people coming to beat up mutants and kill mutants in the arena, he's also able to take on a whole platoon of Foot soldiers, and really is no worse the wear for it. So Donnie's definitely not lost a step, and he's done it all with a simple bow staff. He has literally beat the brakes off of an entire pile of Foot Clan ninjas. But now the question is, what comes next? We know that with the next issue number 5 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we're going to learn a lot about what's going on with the gang. What actually broke them up? Because as I've talked about before, when we got to the end of the series, of the initial run, issue 150, it seemed like the Turtles were back together. They had been split up a little bit, and they've been having their own problems, but they found their way back to one another, and they have embraced and have seemingly worked everything out. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. We know that Raphael has beef with Leonardo worse than ever before, and Michelangelo seems to not be fond of any of the other Turtles right now. Maybe save for Donatello, and that's debatable at best. Donatello is just dealing with his own shit. And we know that other characters are still out there. I'm not going to keep this a secret anymore, but we know Venus de Milo is still out there. Slash is still gone to glory from the original initial 150 issues. And we know that Jenica is also still out there operating as the Night Watcher. That's the thing I've kind of been trying to avoid spoiling, but I mean, by this point, I think issue 3 or 4 is out by now. If you hadn't figured out who the hell the Night Watcher is, I don't really know what to tell you. But right now, it's just the core 4 who are getting back together. And I can't wait to see how Jason is going to bring all this back home. But going forward, I've heard a lot of great things about the next few issues. I haven't gotten to take a look at any of them. IDW is not deigned to give me early access, but I'm hoping that maybe that'll turn around. Who knows? If someone from IDW is watching, say, Jason, I know sometimes you might tune in. Slide me one under the door if you want. I won't say anything. That is where we're at, and I can't wait to see what Jason's going to do with the rest of this. I like Jason Aaron as a writer. I think he has written way more things I liked than things that I've disliked. He's written my favorite run of Thor. He is responsible for one of my favorite Black Panther stories, even though I think the art of it leaves a lot to be desired in terms of how Storm is, her skin tone is depicted in it. But yeah, that's another story altogether. Southern Bastards, another story that's fantastic that enough people don't talk about. Southern Bastards is a fantastic story. I actually highly recommend it. Matter of fact, here, this is a shameless plug. You can actually go read Southern Bastards on Global Comics. It's actually on there. Here, I'll pull up the thing. It's probably around here somewhere. You scan I think it'll be right here. Scan the QR code, and it'll take you right to the app on your smartphone of choice. Or you can click the link in the description, and it'll take you to the website. Whatever the case is, if you use my promo code GCX Blerd Without Fear, if you use a link, it's already built into that. But regardless of whatever it is you do, you'll get 33% off your first 1-year subscription. So, hey, do with that information what you will. But getting back to it, I was initially not worried, but I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure what Jason Aaron would do with this, because I love that first 150. That first 150 is tight. I think it's I know it's not considered the official canon of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I feel like it should be. This is the best Ninja Turtles to me has ever been in comic book format. So I won't even entertain conversation to the contrary on that. So you go argue with your mom. Don't argue with me. So yeah, I wasn't sure where he was going to go with this, but he has done a fantastic job with this up to this point, and I think it's only going to get better. So yeah, now just the question becomes, where's Shredder?